What if the greatest mysteries of antiquity were not pyramids, but something far more strange? Welcome to the enigma of the Olmec, a civilization that history books often leave in the shadows.
They were the mother culture of Mesoamerica, yet their most baffling secrets remain largely unknown to the public.
In the ruins of their palaces, archaeologists found something that defies logic: perfectly uniform black cubes. Some of these objects behave in ways that seem to mock our understanding of natural laws. Today, we step inside the ruins to investigate why these simple objects cause such intense debate among scientists. We will uncover the potential technology behind these artifacts, a technology that simply should not have existed back then. When we hear the word Olmec, one image immediately comes to mind: the colossal stone heads. These sculptures are impressive, but to think the Olmec were just stone carvers is a massive oversimplification. In reality, they were the architects of one of the most advanced early civilizations in the Americas. They thrived long before our modern era, across the lands we now know as Veracruz and Tabasco. They built cities with massive pyramids and ritual centers, shaping the very landscape around them. They established trade routes spanning hundreds of miles, bringing materials from distant lands. The name Olmec was given by the Aztecs, meaning rubber people, a testament to their mastery of natural resources. Their religion was complex, with the jaguar as a central figure, influencing cultures for centuries to come. The biggest challenge is that so little information about them has survived the test of time. The humid climate of the tropics destroyed almost all organic materials, leaving us with only stone and ceramics. We are left to piece together their history from these scattered fragments, each holding a piece of a forgotten puzzle.
When we think of great early civilizations, we usually think of Egypt, Mesopotamia, or India.
But what was happening in the Americas? A society was building, trading, and thinking on a grand scale. The Olmec were that society, developing simultaneously with the great civilizations of the Old World, entirely unaware of each other.
It is a testament to the nature of human reason that people on opposite sides of the planet arrived at similar solutions.
They built cities, organized trade, and created symbols, all driven by the same human impulse to understand the world. In the state of Veracruz, one of the most important early centers of Olmec culture, San Lorenzo, was discovered. In the mid-20th century, archaeologists found an object here that forced them to rethink the technical capabilities of ancient people. It was a small, carefully polished piece of magnetite, an iron oxide with natural magnetic properties. Magnetite is not rare, but this specific piece was clearly shaped by human hands, not nature. It resembles a small rod or a bar with a flat top and a longitudinal groove, a design that is far from accidental. This is no random piece of ore. It is a tool, crafted with a specific purpose in mind. The age of this artifact is staggering, dating back to between 1400 and 1000 BC. To put this in context, this was the time of the New Kingdom pharaohs in Egypt and the dawn of Mycenaean civilization in Greece. In 1975, astronomer and anthropologist John Carlson published a study in the journal Science about this very object.
Carlson discovered that when placed on a cork and floated in water, it consistently aligns with magnetic north.
The same result occurred when it was suspended by a thin thread, proving its consistent magnetic behavior. Carlson proposed a bold hypothesis. This artifact could be the world's first compass. The New York Times dedicated a major article to this theory in 1998, sparking a global debate. Journalists wondered if the history of navigation would need to be completely rewritten.
It is important to clarify, Scientists do not dispute that the object is magnetic. That is a verifiable physical fact.
The real question is, did the Olmec understand what they had? And did they use it intentionally? The magnetite was not found nearby. It was brought from distant, mountainous regions, suggesting it was highly valued. This required organized expeditions, meaning the material was not just a curiosity, but a resource worth the effort. Carlson also pointed to the groove, suggesting it was intentionally placed to indicate a specific direction.
This is no random mark. It is a deliberate design, a sign of advanced understanding.
Wait, you might be thinking, could ancient people really have made a compass?
That is exactly what some scientists thought. But was it a correct assumption?
Let's explore three main theories about what this object could have been, because in archaeology, context is everything. Theory 1. A ritual object. The Olmec lived in a world of spirits and sacred forces. A stone that moves on its own could easily be seen as divine, a tool for priests to communicate with the gods. Theory 2. An architectural guide. The Olmec cities were built with strict orientation to the stars. This compass could have helped builders align their structures with sacred lines on the earth. Theory 3. A navigational tool. San Lorenzo was a major trade hub, and travel through the jungle requires orientation.
In the rainy season, the sky is hidden, making it impossible to navigate by the sun or stars.
This simple tool would have been a reliable guide, regardless of the weather.
It is a practical idea, but was it too advanced for its time?
We must remember that the Chinese, often credited with inventing the compass, also used it first for architecture, not navigation. Navigation came much later, so perhaps the Olmec were on a similar path.
What was more important to an Olmec trader? The ritual or the direction?
Why is this not in every history textbook? Why are we not taught that the Olmec invented the compass? The answer lies in how science works. It requires more than one discovery. It needs a system of proof.
The main problem is interpretation. One object can lead to dozens of theories.
Skeptics argue that while the stone is magnetic, maybe the Olmec just wore it as a necklace. The polishing could have been for beauty or ritual, and the shape could be a total coincidence.
But the proponents of the compass theory point to the intentional shape as a sign of purpose.
They brought this material from far away, which means it was not just a random find. This required organized expeditions, meaning the material was not just a curiosity, but a resource worth the effort.
No discovery is accepted on faith. Every theory must withstand the test of scrutiny.
New technologies are slowly changing the picture, allowing us to see what was hidden for centuries.
LiDAR technology allows us to scan the jungle from the air, revealing cities and roads we never knew existed.
And isotopic analysis can tell us exactly where a stone came from, without damaging the artifact.
Perhaps soon, another such object will be found in the jungles of Mexico, and then we will have the data we need.
There is another complexity. Even if scientists agree on the object, the question of how knowledge was passed remains.
Were they keepers of secrets? Or could any trader make such a tool? How long did they use it? Generations? Or just a few years?
We have no answers, and that is what makes the history of the Olmec so captivating.
These questions are what drive science forward, pushing us to look deeper into the past.
Parallel to the magnetite story, another debate is unfolding in the scientific community about the Olmec themselves.
Were they truly the mother culture of all American civilizations, or just one of many equals? Most modern researchers believe the Olmec held a special place, as they were the first to unite different regional traditions.
Science does not promise quick answers, but it promises honest questions. And the question about the Olmec deserves an answer. Magnetism is not the only secret the jungle hides.
If you think the compass is the only thing the Olmec could surprise us with, you are mistaken. In the late 90s, in the Cascahal Quarry, a stone block with 62 symbols was discovered. It is dated to around 900 BC, which is very early for writing. According to Science Daily and researchers from Brown University, this is one of the earliest examples of writing in the Western Hemisphere.
For comparison, the writing of the Zapotecs appeared around 600 BC. If the block is authentic, the Olmec beat them by 300 years.
There are other finds, like a cylindrical seal and fragments of green stone with carvings.
Some scientists see early proto-writing in them. The symbols repeat, which points to a system. This means the Olmec did not just build and fight. They recorded their speech. They passed complex ideas through generations.
Remember the rubber?
To make a rubber ball that bounces well and does not crumble after a week, you need to mix the sap of a rubber tree with the sap of an ipomoea vine in the right proportions.
This is chemistry.
They did this 3,000 years before Charles Goodyear invented vulcanization in the 19th century. They knew chemistry, made rubber by mixing the sap of a rubber tree and ipomoea 3,000 years before Goodyear. Built irrigation systems, created canals.
In the tropical climate, water is both a friend and a foe.
The Olmec knew how to build canals, divert excess water, and deliver it where it was needed.
Their calendar laid the foundation for later time-counting systems. They controlled the elements on an engineering level. A separate question deserves attention: the astronomical knowledge of the Olmec. Their ritual centers have a strict orientation.
Researchers discovered that the layout of La Venta, the second most important Olmec city, was built in accordance with specific.
The Olmec observed the sky and transferred celestial regularities to the earth.
This requires several generations of constant observation and recording, which means the transfer of knowledge. Think about all of this together, and it tells us about the culture of the Olmec. They had a magnetic stone that worked like a compass. There were possible writing signs and even chemical recipes for rubber. They built irrigation systems, oriented cities by astronomical principles, and created trade networks stretching thousands of kilometers.
None of these achievements appeared by chance.
Behind each one stood accumulated knowledge that was passed from teacher to student. This is the sign of a real civilization. Have you ever heard of the Cascahol block before? Or that the Olmec could invent rubber first?
Probably not.
And that says a lot about how much we still have to learn.
Why do the Olmec remain in the shadows?
In mass culture, everyone knows the Maya with their calendar and pyramids, the Aztecs with their empire and sacrifices. The Olmec often pass as a background, like some ancient people with heads.
Why such injustice?
The first reason is the lack of spectacle for the mass tourist. The Olmec built their cities mainly from earth and clay. If this video made you look at history differently, like and subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments what surprised you more, the Olmec compass or their early writing.